Howdy everyone, thank you for joining me, Tasty, here for another random gaming news, where today we have a few quick mentions that I think you might be interested in. Also, we're going to talk about a gesture-based user interface coming from Sony, and then some of the leaks coming out of the Final Fantasy VII demo, where we actually got a look at the intro cinematic trailer. Also, stay tuned towards the end so that way you guys can take a look at Tasty's Pick of the Week. That's right, I'm going to give you a game that I like playing. Come back to the channel tomorrow so that way you guys can see the actual podcast. We're going to be talking about some of our favorite moments from last year in 2019. And if it's anything like last week, this podcast is not going to be talking about that for very long. And also, check out the links in the description. Why don't you help out another YouTuber that's about the same size as my channel and go ahead and make some good karma at the start of 2020 here. And also check out that Discord link so you guys can come and hang out with me, and if you want, not to be creepy or anything, but there's also a news article suggestion area where you guys can go ahead and suggest some stuff that you'd like to see here on the channel. And also share the video if you haven't already, because it does help out the channel the more that you guys do that. Hitting the like button is another great thing if you guys did enjoy the video. Subscribe to it if you haven't already. Make sure you're turning that bell icon on so that way you guys can be notified of when I make my next video. And let's go ahead and start the show. So first up here for the quick mentions, it seems some data miners have actually found a Pro Switch controller image inside the files of Red Dead Redemption 2. And a lot of people are freaking out thinking that we might be getting that port for Red Dead Redemption 2, but honestly, I really don't think that that's the case. But most likely what is the case is that since the Pro controller can be Bluetooth connected to any PC and you can play games via the Bluetooth controller that way, then I think that most likely what's going on is that it's just a way to match up the buttons that you're seeing on the screen with the actual controller you're playing with, just to make it a little bit easier for the player to understand and make the flow of the game kind of go smoothly there for everything. And so if you haven't heard or seen this already, there's actually a Smoke app coming for Apple Watches that actually allows you to see some Steam updates on there, and it's a pretty cool thing. Here's a list of some of the stuff that it can do, and I really feel like this app itself is going to be something that really helps out people that are playing like MMOs and stuff like that, because you can see what your friends are playing. So if they're playing the game that you guys all play together, you can jump on, help them out with whatever they're doing. You can also share news articles from there, because there's a companion app that you can tap on the news article that you want to actually look at. It'll pop up on your phone and you can save them for later or anything along those lines. So it's a pretty cool little app, but I would be curious, anybody that is an Apple Watch user out there that has Steam, would this app actually be something that you would use? And if so, how useful would the app actually be? Go ahead and let me know that down in the comments below. And lastly here, I just wanted to show you guys the storefront image of the Microsoft Store. And if you've noticed, there's a few things that probably stick out to you guys there. That Pokemon is now on the Microsoft Store, so is Fire Emblem and Breath of the Wild. And now a lot of us wouldn't be fooled by this actually on the store itself, so I know that you guys are good about that, but if you do feel that you have any friends that are that gullible to believe that Pokemon would be posted up on the Microsoft storefront, go ahead and let them know that it's not actually Pokemon that's on there, and that these developers are trying to swindle you out of $10.50. So I really hope this is something that Microsoft goes in and curates their store a little bit better, because it's not good image for them to have stuff like this on the store that isn't representative of the game that people are actually trying to sell or have them download. So I would really like them to step up, and if not, maybe Nintendo step in and start dropping that deceased and assist order, because they are pretty loosey-goosey when it does come to that. So Microsoft, if you do watch this, which probably not, go ahead, let's curate that store a little bit better to make it a little bit easier for customers and for them to not get scammed out of their money. So last week on December 26th, when everybody was taking their Christmas break, Sony was hard at work because we actually got a patent from them for a gesture-based user interface for VR and AR with gaze triggers. Yeah, that was a mouthful to say just for that name. But what this actually means is that this AR, VR, alternate reality, or virtual reality user interface can be used on any products that use AR, VR technology inside of it. So phones, other headsets, they've even said that they can put this on TVs and other things. So it'd be nice to see what they can actually do with this, but it is one of those things that I really feel like this is a great step in the right direction for it, because with these gesture-based systems, you can actually use your hand as the gun for like firing. You can stop programs, you can pick up items, things like that inside this user interface. So it'd be nice to see this actually push the VR AR space a little bit further, because it'd be awesome to not have to have a controller in your hand, because that gives you a little bit of player disconnect whenever you are playing the actual AR VR areas, because you have this controller moving your character around, you can look around and everything like that. But it is something that it does leave you at a little bit of like, oh, I'm still playing a game, versus something that you can actually sit down and kind of enjoy, or like stand up and enjoy really, and have like a gesture system where you're just using your arms and actually in the world. But I feel like we'll get a lot more YouTube videos of people crashing their AR or VR headsets into walls, because it's one of those things, you see a ball going and you're going to start running for it, and bam, right into the wall. But patents, they are filed a lot by companies, and we really don't get a whole lot from them. So it may not come to be anything about this. So it'd be nice to see what happens here with it. But if it does, we might be getting it as early as the PSVR headset 2, coming with the PS5. We'll have to hear a little bit more of what actually is going to be in that headset before we can say definitively that this is going to be inside there. But Sony does have the technology, and they do have the best-selling VR headset, so it'd be interesting to see what they actually do with this type of technology and who they lease it out to, and what people do with this user interface. So lastly here, for all the main news stories today, I just want to talk a little bit about the leak that actually came from the Final Fantasy VII demo here recently. So the game itself isn't out yet, but now not too long ago, a site called GameStat actually released that the demo was already up on the PSN network. So it's something that's sitting there and ready to go. We just have to wait for them to unlock it in order for us to play it. And the site can be has a little bit more credibility than most, because they were actually the ones that actually came out and said that the Resident Evil 3 remake was coming down the pipeline days before it was actually announced by Capcom at the Sony State of Play. So it is something that they do know a little bit about this stuff, so it's nice to see that that's actually up and going. But so getting to the leak at hand here, so what happened is that a YouTube user actually put up a 3-minute and 30-second clip of the intro trailer for the actual Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. And this is pretty cool, because it is nice to see the demo itself. I'm not going to be showing any of it here, fearing a copyright strike from Sony or Square Enix, so we'll go ahead, and if you want that, that's something that you will have to find on your own. But it is nice to see this kind of stuff. Now, it is through the compression of YouTube and that kind of thing, so it isn't something that necessarily still looks like the real representation of the game, but it is something that we got to see a little bit more of what's actually going to be in the game, how it's going to look, and what the actual beginning of the game is. They've changed it a little bit as far as the opening of the game, so that was nice to see, that we are getting some changes to the story a little bit, because it'd be interesting to see what they can do, kind of revamp it a little bit to it. And some data miners recently also did find some different images and stuff like that inside the game, because it is something that is playable on dev kits and alike, so it is something that they do have access to it, and data miners did find some images of some of the characters. We won't get into a whole lot about that, because again, that's just revealing some stuff about a game that hasn't come out yet, and I really want that to be something that you guys go and experience in the game, and not something that we show here on the channel. So if that's something that you're interested in, there are some links in some places that you can find that. You can easily search, data miner, kind of getting stuff inside it from Final Fantasy VII Remake, and you can find that out for yourself. But as far as here, I'm just going to say, I'm excited for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I can't wait for it to come out on PC, because I'd love to get my hands on some of the graphics controls that are inside there and make it look the best it can. I know I'm going to have to wait until 2021 because there's a year exclusive from being put on any other platform except for the PlayStation. So if you own a PlayStation, March is going to be your time to pick up Final Fantasy VII Remake, and look out for that demo, because it's going to be coming down the pipeline soon, because March is only 3 months away. So now it's the time of the video where I tell you what game I've been playing this week and how I've been enjoying it. And this week we're going to take a look at a very interesting game, that's Kenshi. And it's kind of hard to explain what this game is, because it's a sandbox RPG, but to simplify it a little bit would be that is Desert Samurais. So that's kind of how I found out about this game, looking through some playthroughs and that kind of stuff, that, seeing if this game was worth buying. And let me tell you, it is. It's one of those games that it's kind of like grindy to the effect effect of like, you know, WoW or something along those lines, or like another MMO, but it's a single player game. And you know, it's one of those things that they put a very big emphasis on, that you are not special in any way, shape, or form. So it's something that you start up the game and you think that, oh, I can just go kill a bunch of people and get money that way to start up my settlement and get going, you know, from there. But it's really not the case, because if you go and start trying to mess with bandits, they're gonna wipe you out like nobody's business. So you know, the next thing that I would do to actually earn some money, because again, I want to build up that settlement, get my own little place, start making money, making armor and stuff like that, and then going out on adventures all by myself. And in order to do that, you got to get building materials, and that costs money. So I would grind away, kind of mining out on the copper until I had enough money to go and buy a bunch of building materials and make my fence around it. But that wasn't good enough, because bandits would just come and storm down just the gate when I just had the gate built and not the rest of the fence, and then I would just be running away from them the entire time. But it is a fun game, and it has a whole lot to do, and it is very grindy of a game. And I know this all sounds like I'm kind of a little bit complaining about the game, but I'm really not. These are all good selling points for me in a game. I want a game that has a very long playability. I don't want to be messed with by other players, so single player is good as well. And it has a lot of things that you can do in the game. It's, you know, almost endless of what you can do, because it's a sandbox RPG. So you're building your character the way that you want, and you're kind of getting that one character up. But you have a squad-based system where you actually have other people that you can recruit and start building them up the way that you want them to be as part of your actual party there. So if you want a bunch of fighters, you get a couple of them going, they go into a training area, they can get their fighting skills up, but in order to get their toughness up, you have to actually go and fight and lose fights in order to get your toughness up. So that is something that you got to kind of have to gauge it right, to like send maybe a weaker guy out first and then surround them with the stronger people after the fact. So you know, it's very strategic in a certain way, but I don't know, it's hard to explain again the joy that I'm getting from this game. I've been playing it the past week. I've put in a few hours. I barely have fences put up, but it is a very fun game, and I strongly urge anybody with a PC to go check out Kenshi now. Put a link to that down in the description itself. I'm not sponsored by them by any means, but it is a very nice game that is very underrated. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about Kenshi itself. I'm going to stop rambling on here and we'll move on. Well, that's our video for today. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I enjoyed making it for you here, and I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. So if you guys did have any thoughts about anything that you saw in the video, go ahead and leave those down there for me, so that way I can you know, interact with you. And also check out the links that are in the description. Like I said, the other YouTube channel that's down there, as well as the actual, you know, Discord server that I made. And there's another Discord server that I'm a part of that's going to be down there as well. Hope you guys come and check both of them out and come, you know, hang out with us for a little bit. And apart from that, I just want to thank you guys again for, you know, sticking around the channel. I do greatly appreciate that. If you would, please share the video. That does help out the channel the most. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button and let me know that you did. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn that bell icon on so you can be notified of when I make my next video. And as always, I have been Tasty. This is Random Gaming News, and have a wonderful fucking gaming night. Ha! Surprise, motherfucker! That's right, I'm still here. Hey, come back tomorrow and enjoy the live stream podcast. If you haven't already, here's the subscribe button for you. Here's also a past playlist for other random gaming news, and here is the playlist for the podcast itself. Go ahead and check that out before we do the next one here. Bye!